Okay, so the Chiefs, they lost the Super Bowl. They got blown out. Travis Kelce, he looked pretty done in the game. There were some highlights of him looking like he was potentially not playing as hard as he should have been, given the stage and given how hard Patrick Mahomes is playing. And people were wondering, like, is this it? Travis Kelce has begun to act. He's had his podcast, which is incredibly popular. He's dating the most famous musician probably in the world, and Taylor Swift. What does he need? Another year of football. And when we did a segment on this before, I kind of was like, well, he's a competitor. He doesn't want to have his last game be that Super Bowl loss. So I think that more than anything would be the reason that he comes back to avenge the Super Bowl loss. And so it was announced on the Pat McAfee show. Travis Kelce texted him and he said, quote, "My dog, I'm coming back for sure. Gonna try and get into the best shape I've been in this offseason and get back to the mountaintop. Got a real bad taste in my mouth with how it played out, or how I played in the last game, and how I got my guys ready for battle. I can't go out like that." And then he also shared, the "I'm not fucking leaving" speech from Wolf of Wall Street with his face superimposed over Leo's face. So Travis Kelce will be returning for another season in the NFL. And, I think that's exciting if you're a Chiefs fan, but I do have to wonder, how much does he have left in the tank, right? I mean, down year for him last year. Perhaps this can serve as a tradition, a transition to new tight ends where he's kind of being a player coach. There was a report that if he comes back, the Chiefs want him back in a reduced role. I think that, makes perfect sense, right? I mean, he's not the player he once was, but he did say he's going to try to get in the best shape of his life. So I guess we'll see how good of shape that he can be in. But, I don't expect too much from him, right? I don't expect him to light it up in any capacity, but I think, it will be good for the Chiefs to have a kind of like one last run for Travis, as if they needed more motivation. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row. But, it's interesting. He's a Hall of Fame level player. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time, certainly the greatest Chiefs tight end of all time, beating out Tony Gonzalez, obviously, because he played his entire career in Kansas City. So it should be interesting to see what happens with Travis Kelce. Is he going to be effective? Is he going to be any better if he does get into better shape? Or is this kind of like going to be one of those things where it's like, do you remember when Antonio Gates ended his run? There were like a few years where he was on the Chargers and he'd like flip on a Chargers game. And at a certain point, he'd like catch a pass. And you're like, wait, Antonio Gates is still in the league? That's crazy. So I wonder if it will be more akin to that, where he's just used in spots and not the everyday player that he once was, certainly when it comes to catching passes. So if you're a Chiefs fan, how do you feel about Travis Kelce returning for a 13th season? Do you think he's washed? Do you think he still has something left in the tank? I'd love to hear from you in the comments.